In the world of AI hardware, there's pretty much one undisputed king. But what if the best way to win isn't to just build a bigger castle, but to fight a completely different kind of war? Okay, let's dive into exactly how Qualcomm is planning to take on the Titan, Nvidia. So this number you're looking at, it's staggering. That's Nvidia's projected data center revenue for fiscal year 2026. I mean, they are, without a doubt, the Goliath of this story. They totally dominate the market, especially in that high-powered world of AI training. But you know how the story goes, right? For every Goliath, there's a David. And a new challenger is stepping into the ring, not by trying to outmuscle the champ, but by changing the rules of the game entirely. And believe it or not, it's a name you probably have in your pocket right now. That's right, Qualcomm. The company that powers millions of smartphones is now aiming its sights squarely at the data center. They're leveraging their massive portfolio of intellectual property, plus all the talent they got from acquiring Nvidia, and they are making a really serious play for a piece of that AI pie. And this isn't just talk, not at all. This quote comes from a huge deal with Saudi Arabia's Humain AI. And this deal is basically funding Qualcomm's entire push into this space. It gives them the resources, sure, but maybe more importantly, it gives them a massive anchor customer right from the get-go, making them a legitimate threat. So to really get Qualcomm's strategy, we first need to understand the battlefield itself. Because the world of AI workloads is really split into two very distinct territories. Okay, so on one side, you've got AI training. Think of this like sending the AI to school. It's where it learns everything it knows. It is incredibly power intensive, just raw brute force computing. And that is NVIDIA's fortress. But on the other side, you have AI inference. This is when the AI has graduated and it's actually using what it learned to answer a question or create something. This have to be fast and, crucially, super power efficient. And that is Qualcomm's bullseye. So what's Qualcomm's weapon in this fight? Well, it's not about having more raw power than Nvidia. It's about being smarter and way more efficient with the power they have. It's a classic asymmetric warfare strategy, really. And look, this wasn't some sudden move. This timeline shows that Qualcomm has been developing this tech for years. From their first AI 100 all the way to the planned AI 250, they've committed to this annual cadence of improvements, steadily building their arsenal for this exact moment. They've been playing the long game. At the very heart of this weapon is the Qualcomm AI core, and this is the 7th generation of a design they perfected in the superpower-constrained world of smartphones. By cramming 3 different types of processing units onto a single core, it's built from the ground up for one thing and one thing only: maximum performance per watt. The architecture itself is just brilliant. Think of it like a Swiss Army knife on a chip. You have a scalar unit for general stuff, a vector unit that's awesome for things like image processing, and then the powerful tensor unit for all the heavy AI math. They all share memory, which lets the chip use the absolute most efficient tool for any given job. That's the secret sauce to its efficiency. Okay, so that all sounds great in theory, right? But let's get to the brass tacks. How does this efficiency-focused weapon actually stack up against NVIDIA's raw power when you put them head-to-head in a real data center rack? This table really lays it all out. So at first glance, you might see NVIDIA's rack, the GB300, and notice it delivers a bit more raw performance. That's 1100 petaflops. But look closer. Look at that last row. The cost for each unit of performance, the cost per petaflop, is way lower for Qualcomm. They're delivering almost the same punch for less money and less power. And this chart just drives that point home. When you factor in the cost of power, which, trust me, is a massive expense for data centers, Qualcomm's solution is projected to be about 35% more efficient. A lower bar here is way better, and that gap you see, that could represent millions of dollars in savings for customers. It's a huge deal. But let's be real, there's a trade-off. To match the absolute top-end performance of a single NVIDIA rack, a customer might need more Qualcomm racks, which obviously takes up more physical space. So the question for buyers is this: do you prioritize performance density above all else, or are you willing to trade a little space for big savings on cost and power? So what does this all mean? Can this efficiency-focused David actually take on the performance Goliath? Well, it all comes down to realizing they aren't even playing the same game. Look, Qualcomm is not trying to build a better NVIDIA chip. They're basically conceding the training market. They're focusing entirely on creating a specialized, cheaper, and way more power-efficient tool for that exploding inference market. It's a targeted strike right at a perceived weakness. And Qualcomm is already telegraphing its next move. Their upcoming AI 250 chip is promising another generational leap in efficiency, and they're focusing on innovative memory designs to get there. They are doubling and tripling down on the one metric they believe can win them this war. Which brings us to our final thought. For years, this whole AI race has been about one thing: raw power, at any cost. But as AI gets everywhere and power costs are just soaring, Qualcomm is betting that the market is about to shift. It leaves us with a really fascinating question. In the age of AI, is brute force still king, or is efficiency the new superpower?